Hey crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G, and guess what time it is? It's paper pumpkin time! I am going to show you the alternatives that Maudie and I made from the March paper pumpkin. But now first, we're going to make two alternatives together. And so let's head down to the crafting table and join me on our journey to create alternatives. First, I want to show you the stamps. Look at the stamps that you get with this kit. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. You get a large happy, but you also get a punched out gold happy if you want to use that. And then we will be using this beautiful lily stamp throughout all our cards because it is so beautiful. This allows you to make some fantastic backgrounds. Okay, the first one we're going to create is a pocket card. I want to remind you that the cards I'm going to show you will have a link below this video so that you can go and get the dimensions. So let's grab our card. Now this is going to be a top fold card, and we need to go ahead and get down a few mats. Now I want to show you, when we create our mats, we like to go ahead and emboss them because otherwise they look kind of flat. But when you emboss your mats, look at that extra depth that it gives you. So let's go ahead and just lay this down. Now remember, stay with us because we are going to show you 7 more alternatives that we created. Now, when you open up your kit, you are going to find a flyer that gives you some cards that you can make. And of course, you can make those cards if you want to. But as you go with us on our journey today, you're going to see that we've incorporated some fun folds and some cards that have mats on them, all the while using the colors that they recommend. Because they recommend with this particular kit that you use shaded spruce, garden green, coastal cabana, orchid oasis, fresh freesia, polished pink, and crumb cake. Now we didn't use all of those, but we used our favorites. Okay, so the next mat we want to lay down is our white mat right here. So we're just going to lay that down. Now, if you are going to stamp on this white mat right here, you want to make sure and stamp it before you emboss it. You might not get the sentiment stamp perfectly if it's embossed because it does have all the ridges on it. So look at that. Look how pretty that is. Love this embossing folder. Now the next thing we did is we took the top of one of their cards that they gave us. Look at those dots. So pretty, right? These are gold embossed dots. And we simply cut it apart, and then we cut our square that we need for our pocket. Now this is how it's going to go on our card. And we are going to leave that nice little polished pink border right there. Now, because you need your card to slip inside this, you only want to put your tear and tape on the outside borders of your triangles. So let's grab our tear and tape. Now, you can use the larger tear and tape, but I'm going to go ahead and use this small tear and tape just to make sure that my card slips in and out. Once again, we're only putting tear and tape on our edges. Okay, and now we're going to get our Take Your Pick tool, and we're just going to take the backing off. Okay, And let's get these lined up on our card, remembering that we're going to leave this polished pink exposed. So just stay on the white mat. Okay, we'll set that to the side because now we're going to decorate our note card that we're going to put right in the center. So let's go ahead and stamp our message and then we can add our flowers around it. Let's go ahead and put down a piece of paper so that we don't get our table messed up. And we are going to stamp this beautiful sentiment to an incredible woman. Now, you want to make sure that you stamp it high enough so we know we need to stamp it right here in the top 1/3 of this little note card. And we're going to bring in memento and we're going to add our beautiful orchid right down here because it will show on the card. So tap, tap, tap. And now we are bringing in polished pink blends, the dark and the light. And we're going to go over using the light, using our brush nib because it is very quick to use the brush nib. Now we're going to bring in the dark polished pink and we're using the pencil nib and we're going to go over those marks that they already gave us just to give it some depth. You might also go over the edge of the flower. Look how pretty that looks. And now we're bringing in our shaded spruce dark and light blends. I'm going to use the light one and then I'll go over the veins with the dark shaded spruce. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? Love those lilies. Now we're going to add this straight to the base mat, making sure that you leave the same border around all the edges. Okay, so now we have this slip right in. You can see the flowers, but we're not done. We're going to go ahead and put a pot right here and put some leaves on it just to give it some more interest. Now we need to set our pot up on dimensionals so that we can set our leaves behind it. And now we have all these leaves to play with. These are punch outs that they give you in your kit. Okay, and I'm going to glue my leaves down just like that. So just put a little bit of glue, just a dab, because you don't want to glue down all the leaves. Making sure that you stay within your border so that it fits in the envelope. And now we need to put the inside to our card so that we can write our sentiment. And here we have our first card. Now you can write a sentiment on the inside, Remember, when you pull this card out, you could also write a sentiment here. You could add a gift card to the back of this pocket card. You could also stamp something here, but remember, if you stamp something, stamp it before you emboss it. So let's just slip this back in. And there we have it. Let's move on to the second card that we're going to make. Now, the second card we're going to make is a fun fold again. Now remember, when you open up your paper pumpkin kit, you can certainly follow their instructions to make the cards that they recommend. But when you're looking for alternatives, we tried to come up with ways that you could stretch your materials in the kit and then have to add just very little. Crafters have embossing folders, so you can use whatever embossing folder that you have. We occasionally added some additional DSP. You have a stash of DSP like we all do, right? And we need to use it. But on this one, we're just bringing in the recommended cardstock that they have. Now, I did use an embossing folder on this background because this is our base card. Now, this will have a link below this video to show you all the dimensions on how to make this. But this is just a fantastic fun fold. So we are going to add this mat to the front of our base card. And once again, we like to go ahead and emboss our mats because it really adds some depth to the card. And because these are 3D embossing folders, you will need to put enough glue so that it gets between the ridges. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to cut us a long card. So this is just 11 by 4 1/4, but we need to make some score lines. So let's bring in our trimmer. We're going to score at 4 1/4. Extend the arm because we're going to score at 7. And 9 3/4. So you're going to take the area that has the most coverage right here. That's going to be on your base card right here, just like this. Bring in your bone folder. Let's just give that a good crease. And then we're going to fold it up. And we're just going to fold this down. So we have 3 segments here. So go ahead and give it a good crease. And remember to crease right here, right on the back. Anywhere that you have a score line, give it a good crease. Now, we cut some mats for this paper. And we also took one of those envelopes and we cut the flap off, and we're using this as our DSP. So we're just going to add our strips right here. So let's go ahead and just add this. Now, because we're adding that beautiful DSP, and you really won't see much of this cardstock, we did not emboss it. Get that lined up. Now we're going to line up this one just right here on this part of the flap. And remember, this has a link below this video so that you can get all the dimension. Now, when you cut the flap apart, you don't have this beautiful pink on all 3 strips. So you need to decide, how do you want to organize it? Do you want to put this first and have the 2 pinks together? I think we're going to go ahead and split those. So we are just going to put our green one in the middle. And this is such a fun design for Mother's Day, Easter, really any occasion. Now the next thing we're going to do is just lay it down on our base card. So let's go ahead and just put our adhesive on the back. Make sure that we just give it a really good press right here to get it on the card. And now to decorate our card. Now, what you can do is glue this flap down so that it doesn't open up. And that's what we're going to do, but you don't have to. You could also stamp another message there. But I want this to stay down, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it. And that way, when I go to open it up, it just opens like this. How pretty is that? Now, on the outside of our card, I took our punch, Label Me Lovely, and I punched it out 3 times. I stamped our message, and now we are just going to split these and create a really nice border on this label. So you can just cut this in half, just like this. We're going to add our polished pink first. So just put a little bit of glue right there. Add it to the back of your label on the top and the bottom. So add some more glue. Just line it up. Now we're going to add our shaded spruce. And look at that beautiful label. We took a label that was just plain white and we made it a wow label. Now we're going to add this right here to the top of our card. Go ahead and space it the same at the top and the bottom, and we're going to add it on dimensionals. Why is that? Because you're right, we want to add some leaves behind it. So when you add your dimensionals and you know you're going to add something to the back of it, try to stay in the middle of your label or whatever your image that you're adding to the front of your card, because that gives you more room to poke something underneath it, right? Making sure that you don't have anything down here because you'll stick it to this part of the card and you don't want that. So here we have it. Now we're going to bring in our flower that I've already colored. Now we're going to add some leaves to this other side. And now we have our second card made. Look at this. Love this card. What do you think about these 2 cards? Love these colors. That polished pink is just beautiful with that dark green. And now I want to show you our 7 other cards that we made. Another card that we decided to make was to put this beautiful pink arrangement on a white card. Now we went ahead and we cut a diagonal here. We used those beautiful lilies to stamp and color. And then we stamped our happy, but look at what we did to it. We added the Nouveau drops to really make it shine. And we added our happy birthday down here. Now you open it up and you have plenty of room to write. These colors are amazing. Next, we decided to create a trifold, and we used that bookcase that they gave us, and we also used the pot that they gave us. Now, in the kit, they gave you a much smaller pot, but we didn't pop it out. We just cut around it to give us a much bigger pot. We added those leaves. You have room to write. And you can also write on the back if you want. And we added that beautiful saying, here's to another year of growth. Love that one. Now, there will be a link below the video on this one. And of course, we had to do our flip card. We love this. We used our lily for the background. So pretty. Now remember, on this card, you can always put another sentiment here. But we decided to just use the sentiments from the kit, and those were the appropriate ones to use. Next, we took the front of one of the cards and we embossed it with the Hive embossing folder. Now look at what it did. It took those dots and kind of put them in the depressed areas, creating such a pretty design. We colored our lilies a different color, and this stamp right here, this circle that you see, that is a fantastic stamp set that's still in the annual catalog. I don't know for how long. But in case you're unsure of how to shade, this has all the shapes, the squares, the rectangles, the circles, and you just stamp it and it does that beautiful coloring for you. Next, we did this fun card. Look at this. So pretty. That happy stamp is so pretty. And this leaf right here, we just fell in love with this leaf. Just loved it. And we just stamped the other decoration that they had, the image. We didn't put any lilies on this one. We had to do a bendy card, right? Now look what we did. We cut the window that they provide you on one of the cards. We cut that apart and just used a 4 window pane. And then we simply stamped a sun. We stamped some ground, some bushes coming out, and then we added that beautiful pot with the lilies. They open it up. You can stand it up perfectly. And there we have a wonderful Mother's Day card. And finally, we have this beautiful floating easel card. Now there is a link below the video on how to create this. Look at this. We did bring in some additional DSP, but you can make your own DSP with those beautiful stamps, the leaves that they have. But look at this. We added this to some acetate. And of course, you can write on the back of this card. And there we have it. Well, what do you think about our alternatives? We hope we took you on a creative journey because we had so much fun making them. Remember, take a moment, leave a comment. We love to hear from our crafting friends. If you haven't subscribed, please do that now and give us a thumbs up. Go out, make it a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video.